Some breaking news. Let's dive into it. Roquan Smith has officially asked for a trade out of the Chicago Bears organization. He did so publicly in a screenshot of a notes section, very well written explanation of what has happened and why he has gotten to this point. He is representing himself in this entire negotiation and in business, which I respect. Hell of a football player, has been very good for a long time in Chicago. Ryan Poles, brand new GM who hasn't done shit at all as a general manager in the NFL, has come out and said it's been a little difficult with Roquan representing himself. And Roquan's probably saying it's been a little difficult dealing with somebody that ain't ever fucking do this before. But this is what Roquan Smith said in his announcement to the Chicago Bears fans about why he is requesting a trade. To the city of Chicago and all of the Bears fans worldwide.
Why?
I've officially requested a trade. Just writing these words is deeply painful. All right, so we're setting the tone early.
Yeah.
I ain't happy to be here. Okay? This is the reality of the situation.
Sad.
It's like Lions fans.
Yeah.
You ain't happy to be here. You guys ain't fucking won a playoff game in 30 years.
Yes, we do.
Okay? Don't want it, but this is the reality of the situation.
Yep.
Roquan Smith would go on to say, I'm a kid from Macon County, Georgia. When you grow up playing football, you dream of making it to the NFL one day. However, playing a linebacker position, you never imagine getting drafted in the top 10 by the Chicago Bears. I'm a homegrown Bear. A dream came true for me to have an opportunity to put that Bears helmet on. Wear the same jersey that the legendary linebackers did. It's an indescribable feeling.
Wow.
Says Roquan Smith.
Pretty chills.
Walking these hallways the past 4 years, you can feel the spirit. You feel the pressure to live up to that timeless history, that great legacy. I dreamed of playing like Wilbur Marshall, Singletary, Briggs, Urlacher, Butkus. Since the day I was drafted, I vowed to play this position at a level that upheld the standard that was set before me, to uphold that respect and honor, and I have, unfortunately, Unfortunately, the new front office regime doesn't value me here. They've refused to negotiate in good faith. Every step of the journey has been take it or leave it, Roquan. The deal sent to me is, and that would be bad for myself and for the entire linebacker market if I had agreed to it. I've been trying to get something done that's fair since April, but their focus has been on trying to take advantage of me because he's representing himself.
Jesus.
I wanted to be a Bear for my entire career. Help this team bring a Super Bowl back to our city. However, they have left me no choice than to request a trade that allows me to play for an organization that truly values what I bring to the table. I haven't had the chance to talk to the McAfee family, and maybe they can salvage this. But as of right now, I don't see a path back to the organization I truly love. I hope and pray you all can understand. I'm deeply sorry that it has come to this. Sincerely, Roquan Smith.
Damn. Love you, Roquan.
That was what he posted on his Twitter requesting a trade, AJ Hawk. I think at the end there where he said, I haven't talked to the McAfee family, but they could potentially salvage this, is a negotiation tool, a leverage tool to say, hey, Ryan Poles, you ain't never done this before. Let me go ahead and let me go ahead and talk to who hired you, pal, and get this thing done. Somebody that understands what I mean to this organization and somebody that maybe would like to keep me around as a fucking dog. You lost Khalil Mack. What are you going to do? Turn your back on me? What type of organization is this going to look like? So maybe this is just a public negotiation. Maybe this is just a leverage play. But also, are the Bears dead? AJ Hawk?
No.
I mean, it doesn't look very good. I remember on this show when camp opened up, we talked about Roquan and said there's a hold in for Roquan. So I remember saying, well, they must be close then, right? Because if he was truly upset, it would be a hold out, and he would sit out like they did old school days. But it's a hold in, and it sounds like it's been horrible since April, and it's only gotten worse since he's been there in camp. So yeah, like, what do you got a last ditch effort to go up there to the owners and say, come on in, boot this GM out of here, or give me a deal?
Yeah, I think so. That's why an owner matters, by the way. That's why the Packers thing has always been fascinating to me, because one person with a vision at the top, not only is it like business decisions and future plays and what you do, but player relationships ultimately end with the owner, because it's the owner's money, it's the owner's organization, everybody's working for the owner. So whenever you get seniored, like GM is obviously a player's senior, but okay, if something ain't working here, and I feel like I have the ability to do so, be who you can afford to be. Roquan Smith has proved that, I think, in Chicago, right? Zito, Roquan Smith has been a guy for Chicago.
Yeah. He's a dog.
A fucking guy. Be who you can afford to be. All right, pal, you're brand new here. I'm going to go right to the McAfee fan. That's what it felt like to me. And by the way, if that was the move, great business move. And Ryan Poles saying it's been tough to deal with Roquan without an agent. It's like Roquan just puts you in closed Sicilian, pal. That is checkmate, saying I will go right to your fucking boss, pal, if you don't want to get this thing done. Interested to see how it turns out. Roquan is at practice today, and I'm sure it's just not uncomfortable at all.
And then for the way he did it too, to be like incredibly eloquent and kind of just say like, "Hey, listen, I want to be here, like I really do, but the franchise doesn't value me." So like, no, I think. And I don't know, maybe Zito thinks differently, but it'd be tough to imagine Bears fans being like, "Fuck this guy! This guy's up."
With that message right there?
Exactly.
Yeah, especially a new.
Hey, that message never came out before. Remember, back in the day before social media, the only message you could hear is whatever the media decided to put out. Imagine in Chicago with the Bears what they would be saying about Roquan Smith in this particular case. This guy's representing himself. He has no idea what his actual value is. We're trying to build a team here. He's not buying in. Like, that would be the narrative. Now he can screenshot the notes section on his app and within 2 minutes put that on his Twitter and see you later. Now we all know exactly where he stands, why he stands, and how he stands. It's great for players, all of this. I'm not sure how this works out. He's a guy, AJ. This guy's a guy, right?
Yes, he's absolutely a guy. So, yeah, I would assume Roquan didn't want it to come to this either. He didn't want this to have to even do this, but probably felt like this is the last, like, people need to know how I feel. Like, I really, really want to be here, but they're trying to screw me and also screw the rest of the linebackers around the league that are going to be signing deals here in the next year or two.
Him saying, like, I'm a guy, I'm up. If I sign this terrible deal, I fuck over every linebacker in the
There's like de-escalators. Didn't Rappaport report
Yeah.
that there's like de-escalators and it's heavily backloaded?
Yeah, so
The GM. Man.
It's foolish. He's their best player by far on defense now with Mack and also Akeem Hicks they lost in the middle of the Tampa. Like,
but if they're rebuilding, if they just want to move on, if they would like to rebuild and not pay him, like, all right, I think that you could just be transparent as well, as opposed to saying like, oh, he's been tough to deal with because he doesn't have an agent. We're not behind the scenes. We do not know the entire story. He's there. Since April they've been talking, but I mean, just like the Browns, I do not like this type of stuff happening during training camp. Other teams are just trying to win. And I know the Bears are in a rebuild, new coach, new GM, new quarterback, new everything, blah. But also, this is not a good added distraction for when you're trying to build a new culture either. So they both would benefit greatly from either moving on or getting a deal done as you try to set the culture. You coached up there. You love the Chicago Bears organization. You always talked about the history, what it was like walking through Hallis Hall, the whole thing. This Roquan Smith, Ryan Poles situation. How do you handle that as a coach? If you're Eberflus, that's a business thing that's probably happening over Eberflus's head, but he has to deal with the player that is taking place. How do you handle that, and how do you see this whole thing ending, Chuck?
Yeah, Roquan's a great player, and you never want to see, like, they've got rid of so many guys. That roster's turned over, that building's turned over. Anytime you hire, a new GM and a new head coach, that's expected. So there's a lot of change going on there. Yeah, that is an iconic organization. The McAfee family is unbelievable. As a coach, you kind of stay out of those things. I mean, you can't be in that conversation other than say, "Hey, we got your back. We're supporting you. We want you here. We've lost Mac. We've lost this guy. We've lost that guy. We need you here, Roquan. You are, monsters of the midway moving forward." And so you just see more and more of this on day in and day out across all sports.
Hey, there's none of this,
like
Chuck.
Like one guy opened up Pandora's box, and now it's like, okay, Kyler Murray, it doesn't matter. KD, you guys were talking about KD, and all these guys, they've got contracts, they've got signed contracts, and they all they want out.
Chuck, it's hard to win a game in the NFL. It seems like there isn't a lot of blinders out there, Chuck. You know what I mean? Like the Browns right now, Kareem Hunt wants out of there. They got the Deshaun Watson suspension looming. How do you win a fucking game whenever that is looming over top of your team, you think? Whenever the teams that are going to win right now, guess what they're focused on? Fucking football. All that drama can't carry into training camp, right? Am I wrong in thinking this? Am I overreacting?
No, you're exactly right. AJ knows that. If you're spending the first 5-10 minutes of every team meeting, I walk in that room, down those stairs, good morning, guys. Everybody say good morning. And then you spend the first 5-10 minutes explaining all the distractions that are going on. What's going on with Deshaun? Why is Kareem Hunt? Over and over and over ad nauseum, right? Then you're not focused on, okay, what are we trying to accomplish today? Getting better, in all three phases. Here's what the day's going to look like. Here's today's situational football. So you're spending all that time, and it's impossible for those guys to keep the blinders on and the earmuffs on and stay focused on what they need to stay focused on. And it's tiring. Yeah. It gets so tiring, and you just trust your front office people, your GM, you trust ownership to get something worked out and get something done.